Hey, thanks, Johnny, and good afternoon, everybody. Just to add to that housekeeping, we've got this scheduled for an hour. Boris and I will try to get you out of there quicker than that as best we can and field as many questions as possible. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jason Queener. I lead our business consulting team here at LiveVox, and I am joined today by Boris Grinchman. Boris, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us in your screen, in your office, in your home office today. We have a lot to talk about, so thank you for having us.
Thanks, Boris. And so, Boris, I want to get started with probably the most fun part of this. We're gonna let you intro us with your best impression of Louis today.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm not sure that I can do a great impression of Louis, but what I am excited about, and based on Louis' quote here as well, the latest release here, 17, brings truly a lot of really transformational capabilities to our contact center clients, and we're going to be discussing those. Those transformational components include a lot of capabilities around agent experience, around omnichannel, and bringing all of that into our rich data set that we're providing to our clients to better manage their contact center. So as Louis is excited, I'm maybe doubly as excited about our U17 release. Jason.
So we'll get into it here, but kind of let's start with the top. Like tell us just at a high level, kind of where the LiveVox product is today on this next slide.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of folks maybe are somewhat familiar with this slide, as it really depicts our full suite of products that we offer clients today. And I just want to really reorient all of the audience really in terms of what is the purpose of our product suite and what is it designed to do. I think I'll start with the upper left-hand corner. And one of the things that we set out a number of years to do is really provide the industry's only contact center specific CRM platform to eliminate data silos, to ensure that our clients have all of the information for their agents in a single screen, and agents can operate out of a single environment. In other words, make it easy for them to communicate with consumers today. If we traverse really sort of a complete diagonal, we talk about omnichannel communication. Over the course of probably the last 5 years, we've really beefed up our suite of non-voice communication. And we wanted to do this not only to give the power to the agents to communicate via non-voice communication channels, but really to make sure that they're all fully integrated into our platform. And all of those conversations are at the fingertips of administrators as well as agents. And we did all of this with the thought and notion that more and more contact centers would be, operating their contact centers with a lot more insight and a lot more data, and be able to drive better decisions if they had that insight. So our Workforce Engagement Management Suite really does that, providing you layers of information as well as deep insight in terms of what's working well and what needs improvement. So that's sort of like a reorientation of what we have done and where we're going from a LiveVox platform.
Awesome. So we'll have to the next slide here, and I want to talk just for a second about how we're driving contact center performance, and I think it's going to really frame as you go through kind of some of the key features of 17, where they fit in this landscape. But really, there's 3 key areas. One, we're giving the managers the insights and the controls they need to drive winning strategies. The second one is aiming those agents with the right tools and the right knowledge to be successful in their jobs. And Boris, you and I talk about this a lot, right? Giving agents empowerment with guardrails, right? So we'll show a little bit about how we do that to give great customer satisfaction and agent satisfaction. And lastly, giving our customers the tool needed to engage their customers at the right time at the entire life cycle, right? So let's start, Boris, on the next slide here, and let's talk a little bit about how U17 is delivering on this message.
Yeah, absolutely. So if this is a slide, if you take anything away, or if you're excited about a particular thing, these 4 things are sort of our large themes for 17, and the ones that we've oriented ourselves when we were building our latest release. Our very first theme was really to transform the agent experience, make it more engaging, provide additional capabilities for the agents, make it easier for them to utilize the platform and communicate with consumers. The second one is really to ensure that all of these capabilities, are provided with intelligent workflows. So we've enhanced a lot of our ticketing and CRM capability to be able to provide a lot of visibility in terms of how your customer service or asset management recovery or lead generation contact center is performing. We also want to make sure that we are true to the root of what we've always been at LiveVox, which is a platform focused on the regulated industry space. So compliance, security, reliability has always been a focus, and we've doubled down on that. Then, as I mentioned before, we've added a lot of tools giving you the ability to analyze your contact center deeply. So really, those are the 4 things that we are going to discuss today and what we've built over the course of the last quarter.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's start right out of the gate there. We'll start with the how we talked a lot about, you know, agent, customer engagement, customer experience. Let's start to talk about how we're doing that with enhancing our omni-channel communications.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things that I'll talk a lot about is HTI and the offering of HTI in our U17 platform. There's a lot of folks that may be familiar with our HCI product. We've now extended that in order to be able to create HTI or SMS-based campaigns that have manual intervention and be able to, of course, send those out to consumers. This really creates or provides that same unified interface that clicker agents were utilizing before, gives you the capability to schedule campaigns, gives you the capability to be able to insert dynamic message content, and in a manual fashion, be able to outreach to consumers regarding important notifications and messages. This has really been a key pillar of what we've built out in 17, and obviously early adoption of customers has been tremendous on this particular product and feature.
Yeah, so let's talk about. I'll talk a little bit about the return we're seeing on this next slide. You know, as Reg F came out and all those rules came into place here, they really opened the door for, all right, we're giving you a safe path to digitally communicate with your customers. And to your point, the early adopters are seeing significant return, right? They're seeing, and I'm making some assumptions here of 50,000 accounts, they're seeing 10% increase in revenue collected, 33% reduction in mail expense. Think about that. Every time you reach out to a customer for a payment reminder, payment plan, whatever the case may be, every time you don't do that, you're saving at a minimum 56 cents, right? So that adds up in a hurry. You know, so again, we're talking about using this example, $412,000 in incremental collections, $30,000 in reduced avoidance. And we're seeing this adoption, not just in collections, right? But our first party, our financial services customers are taking advantage of this too, because it's an extra layer of risk mitigation, right? So let's hop to the next slide, Boris, and I want to let you spend a few slides here going through a few of the other digital enhancements we've made in 17.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason, for that. So in addition to, of course, beefing out and building out our SMS capability, we continue to invest and build out our email capability. So one of the things that we've heard from clients as well as others in the space is that we really needed to rethink our email capability and very specifically our email editor. So what have we done? One of the first things that you're going to see here is that we've made the email editor easier to use so that you can, in an easier fashion, create the appropriate email templates and email communication to send out to your customers. We've also increased the overall size and capacity of the email editor as well. So when there were restrictions in terms of how large large the HTML was that was supporting the email, we've now expanded that tremendously. So now you can build out a fairly large email creative and be able to send that out to consumers. So no more restrictions on that, and it's easier to use. Okay. What else have we done? Well, we made a tremendous investment in our web chat capability. Folks who are not aware of that or what that does, it's really giving you the ability to take our chat widget or that little chat pop-up, place it on your website, and communicate with customers who are maybe having a problem navigating your website, or maybe ones that are having customer service related questions. And so we've made a number of enhancements on this. The first one that we've made is your ability to get the right conversation to the right person. We've added the ability to be able to transfer a conversation, a chat conversation, from agent to agent seamlessly and quickly without actually losing the entire conversation. In addition to that, we made the conversations quicker. We've made it easier for your agents. So how did we do this? We've added a quick response function where agents are able to create quick responses so they're not having to type the same message over and over. They can, of course, edit these, but these are quick responses for them in order to keep the conversations going. We've also made the data secure. So one of the comments that we received is that, hey, look, I love the chat capability. I love the ability to take a payment via chat, but I really don't want that data, that sensitive data of either the credit card number or maybe even perhaps a social security number sitting out there in the interactions table. What we've done now is after this data is transmitted and the chat is dispositioned, the masking occurs within that chat conversation, and that sensitive data is masked so that no other individual within your company can come back and see that data after the chat conversation has transpired. In addition to this, we've made it easier for your customers to be able to have a conversation. What you're seeing on the left-hand side is a bit of code, but it's very, very important. What this allows you to do is it allows you to place the web chat behind a secure portal, a secure site. So whether you have a payment portal on your website or you're operating within a bank and you'd like to put this behind your online banking site, what this allows you to do is it allows you to pass the variables from your site directly into the chat conversation and no longer necessitates your customers from having to authenticate themselves. So your agents know who they're already speaking with, and your customers don't have to authenticate twice. But wait, as they say, there's more in web chat. This is a really, really exciting feature. And this is the ability to now launch calls directly from the web chat. So consumers that you're having with conversations via chat with today, at times may need an escalation point. They need to be able to talk to you instantly. And you know, Jason, what's really frustrating is having a phone number, calling somebody else, having to again tell them about a conversation, and there's really not a lot of continuity. What this feature specifically allows your agents to do is it allows them to invite consumers to accept a voice call via WebRTC without actually leaving the chat environment.
Yeah, you know, Boris, your timing on that one's impeccable because before getting on this webinar, I was doing that exact same thing. You can see the black screen on my phone, trying to chat with an agent and then get to a voice, and I've started back over. So I have no confidence my phone will work today. So that's a really cool enhancement.
Absolutely. And the last one is really sort of in the same vein. What about when I really need to show the agent something that is actually happening on my particular screen? So what we've added now to the web chat capability is the co-browse capability. So now, if you're having an error, if you're seeing something and you're having a really hard time as a customer explaining this to the agent can actually invite you to a co-browse session, and immediately your agents will be able to see the screens that your customers are seeing. They can mark that up, point out some things, and be able to really mirror that same environment that consumers are having. Really a fantastic component to round off our chat offering.
Agreed. I think we have one more here on WhatsApp, which I think is really exciting. This has been one
that we've
really
heard a lot from, Yeah, it's really exciting, and it's really exciting on multiple fronts, Jason. I think everybody knows that WhatsApp is one of the most used and adopted worldwide messaging platforms in the space today, and we've really rounded this offering, and we've added this capability to our clients. So this will now live in the messaging inbox for our clients that have enabled this channel, and will allow our clients or agents to be able to take in messages via WhatsApp and respond to them. Some folks on the phone may be thinking, where do I use this? When do I use this? Look, if you're operating a significant portion of your business internationally, or if you're recruiting agents internationally, this is a fantastic capability. Not only be able to send out WhatsApp messages, but to also be able to respond to them. So, you know, we're really thrilled about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's great. I mean, anybody that's traveled internationally or try to deal business relations internationally knows that WhatsApp's a bit of a game changer in that space. So let's move to the next category here, and I want to talk a little bit about what we've done to enhance ticketing and CRM. And I'm going to start with the first slide here about our integrated agent workflow. And this is really exciting, and you know, this has really been kind of inspired by a lot of the things our customers were doing. But you know, our integrated workflows can make your contact centers more efficient, more effective in a few ways, right? And we handle that on the LiveVox side with 4 key areas. First, native CRM. We provide lead profiles, customizable CRM field, and full interaction history. So that's a big deal for the agent to know, I'm talking to Boris or I'm texting with Boris. What happened with Boris before he got to me? The next one is leveraging open APIs. You know, being able to leverage open APIs really helps us to guide with precision where that agent goes with the communication with the customer. And then using those, configuring that desktop to show the agent specifically what they need in that piece of the journey, and more importantly, what they don't need, right? And then lastly is some really cool stuff around functions library that allows you to get really creative about how an agent communicates with a customer. And I'll give you a simple little example here. You know, we were talking about my phone not working. Being able to insert a recommendation of an agent to hit a knowledge form that may help them with the question that customer's asking to manage a first contact resolution is a really big deal. So Boris, we've got a few slides on this and how we do it, but let's start with the next one here, and you can kind of walk through the enhancements we made here because they're really powerful, especially as agents continue to work from home.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about ticketing and what we've done on the ticketing side. There's been a number of enhancements, and Jason, as you said, if there are issues today that your contact center, you know, first level or frontline employee is not able to solve, whether it's a dispute, whether it's a change in account or ownership, whether it's a follow-up that's needed, ticketing is a great tool for that. Not only because it makes your agents more efficient because they can pass off the right issue to the right team, but also because you're going to have visibility in terms of how this is done. If you're doing this today via email, you already know that this is an enormous pain point for your organization, and ticketing is a much better way to be able to resolve issues, track them, and create the right information. So let's talk a little bit about some of the functionality. So one of the things about it is now you're able to create tickets and assign permissions to those tickets, so that way only certain individuals or certain teams can view those particular tickets. So if you're creating sensitive tickets that you don't want the entire organization to be able to see, you can now actually make sure of that, okay? You can now also embed particular URLs within tickets. So if you have other platforms where you're pushing data or that need to be referenced regarding a particular ticket, you can actually now do that as well. You can include attachments for tickets. You can create specific forms for tickets, so you can have effectively a dynamic set to say, hey, look, for a general customer service issue, fill out this particular ticket and capture these fields. For, let's say, a back office issue or a dispute, fill out this. For a refund, please fill out this form. And so this is very dynamic and very easy to use, and a really great tool.
Yeah, this is I think this is exciting for our customers because, you know, even if a customer, one of our clients' customers, doesn't even follow up on the ticket, the peace of mind and the customer satisfaction from wrapping up a conversation with going, okay, Miss Customer, I'm gonna text you your ticket number to track this event, is very powerful. Again, even if that customer chooses never to follow up on it, they know, oh, this was documented and there's a process. So it's a really strong customer use case. So let's hop to the next slide here. I think you got a ton more, Boris.
Yeah, absolutely. What have we done on for the agent? Well, on the agent side, we've done a number of different things. One of the things that our clients have asked us for is the ability to now be able to transmit and translate data to the to the agent. And so now, if you're one of our users that's utilizing advanced analytics, what you can do is you can actually embed specific reports and dashboards that you design and be able to transmit them to the agent desktop. So if there are KPIs that you're tracking, if you want to give your agents the visibility to see particular performance metrics that you're viewing, you want them to see a particular report, you can actually now do that. What you're seeing on the right-hand side is the configuration tool and some dashboards here that have been defined for this group of agents. And you can actually transmit those, and the agent can see those every time they log in on a daily basis. Okay. We've also enhanced the ability for agents to be able to effectively track and manage the conversations. So what you're seeing here on the left-hand side is a message that came in. I don't know who this customer is. I don't really recognize them. What you can actually do now is you can actually look up who the contact is. You can link that conversation to a contact, even if there was not a match. In other words, your agent can search for the contact, and that will tie in that conversation to the contact. So there's that connectivity and making sure there are no orphaned conversations, and agents can now do that with a click of a button out of their message inbox. In addition to all of this, we made it easier for agents to be able to navigate UCRM. So what we have here is a recently viewed list on the right-hand side. So agents are able to view the items that they've been recently working on. So no more jotting down notes and sensitive information and having to remember who I just spoke with and how do I retrieve their account. The system automatically tracks the recently visited contacts, accounts, tickets for you, displays that on the right-hand side, and allows the agent to navigate there very quickly and easily.
Yeah, that one's a big deal, right? Especially in a world where agents don't often have the access to notepad or even physical pad and paper anymore because of security reasons. So Boris, I know that you love this slide. Talk just real briefly about, I mean, the ROI numbers are so big, right? Talk about how we get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hats off goes to some of our customers who helped derive some of these numbers through the conversations we've had with you over the course of the last number of months. A lot of folks will ask, hey, Boris, this looks fantastic. What are the tangible benefits that I can take to my executive team that really help drive the point that this is really, really important and something that we should focus on? What we see consistently over and over is that UCRM helps our clients deliver the pertinent information about the customer directly to the agent screen in an easily consumable manner. What we also see is that having continuity in conversations, knowing when we spoke to the customer about what was the result of that call, drives quicker handle time and quicker paths to resolution. We also know that having to not copy and paste and have all of the information in a push of a button, literally a push of a button through our URL push technology to a system of record or multiple other systems that our clients are using, also reduces agent handle time. And that utilization of messaging channels, whether that's SMS, email, or chat, all helps to drive two very important factors. It helps to drive down the average handle time for an agent, and it helps to increase first call resolution. And I know that the uplift may seem small, but when you look at your entire contact center, all of these seconds really, really add up. And this ROI is sort of exemplary of that.
Yep, it definitely is.
On the ticketing side, I will add that automating your workflows, in other words, routing issues to the right appropriate individuals, being able to see that and not having to swim in a sea of emails like I know everybody is on this phone call, again, does the same two things. And it also helps you really have a great story for your clients today to indicate that, hey, I have a dispute management process, I have a dispute resolution process. It follows these particular steps, and it does that very, very easily and coherently, and I can manage to that. I manage to particular SLAs. It really helps to paint a different picture of you as an organization to your clients today. And of course, it also drives handle times down and increases resolution rates.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the value to the customer of having that first contact resolution because you have a workflow to follow internally is a huge opportunity. So you can see how quick that ROI can stack up. Let's change subjects here for a second. And again, of course, I know compliance and security and reliability is not as fun and exciting as some of these other things, but we've spent a ton of time in 17 on these topics. So I wanted to give you a few minutes here to kind of step through what we've done here, because it is very, very important to all of our customers.
Absolutely. I don't know why you think it's not fun and exciting. It is fun and exciting, Jason. Come on now.
As fun, as fun.
As fun. Okay, maybe as fun. Okay. So one of our big enhancements as we've really moved into the omnichannel space has been the retirement of the name, at least, of our very lovable PDAS product. And I know people out there love that acronym, but unfortunately we're dropping the P and the D because it's really become a temp supervisor. And the reason it has is that we now offer non-voice communication channels within the attempt supervisor interface to help you not only control voice conversations, but be able to control email and SMS frequency to help you comply with either internal or external standards from a communication standpoint. So really a great enhancement, really branching out from the voice capability. Okay. In addition to that, we wanted to also make things easier, not only for your agents, but more compliant. So today, I think a lot of folks here are aware of our secure payment capture process and where it lives. And it's always lived in the phone panel, and for some clients, it will continue to be there. But what we've done is we've now added the secure payment capture process into our scripting tool. So for folks who are really utilizing our integrated agent workflows and scripting out a particular pathway for clients, or for your agents, I should say, you can now actually embed the secure payment capture process directly into your script and not have your agents have to sort of navigate out back to the phone panel in order to capture that credit card information. Mm-hmm. This one is really, really great. I think this gets talked about a lot from an outbound perspective. But it has an immense amount of importance also from an inbound perspective as well. So for all folks who are familiar with stir shaken and the attestation levels that are there, it's important to your organization, and obviously we've done a tremendous amount of work to support you in that process. But now we've kind of flipped the script. We've done a tremendous amount of work to be able to do this in a reverse manner. So what you're seeing here is a phone panel and a call coming in actually from a customer or a consumer. And what we're doing is we're actually reading the certificate of that particular voice phone call, and the rating that we're receiving in that particular phone call, we're actually displaying back to your agent on the phone panel. Now, that comes along with a call, so I should say that it's also available within the IVR itself. What are the business reasons for doing this? So today, if you are, just like many organizations, really sort of looking to protect yourself against fraud and fraudulent transactions, you can now understand whether consumers are spoofing phone numbers, and then you're getting calls from somebody who may not be who they say they are. And this helps you do that because all of the calls now will have an A, B, or C rating. And so that way you can have your agents either go through a further authentication process with that particular consumer, or you can route your C-rated calls specifically to a group of agents who may go through a more formal process or a more extended process. But now your agents will have this available. You can actually create logic routing these callers to the appropriate spots.
Yeah, Boris, you hit it right. People always think of stir shaken as an outbound model, but I can tell you at least half the customers on this call right now have struggled with people targeting them on the inbound side too. So this is a really big deal. And let's stay on security here for a second. And look, I'm gonna do this slide a disservice by it only being one slide. So I'm gonna preface this slide with, you should get in front of your account teams as soon as possible to have a deep dive on our high availability and what we've done in 17, because it's a really big deal. But in the interest of time, you know, our team has spent a ton of time and effort on creating, building the resiliency of the platform, the redundancy, the scalability. So things like auto scaling to meet your needs, the way we monitor, the way we design, the way we implement, the way we test and control the environment when things go wrong, right? So chaos engineering, an example. Let's turn stuff off and see what happens. The redundancy we have across our data centers now in Amazon Web Service, AWS regions is a really big deal, and it's meant to deliver a higher level of service and quality of service to everybody in this call. So again, that was a very, very brief conversation that should take you an hour. So if you haven't already, find your account teams and have these conversations with the folks that are way more better positioned than Boris and I to do this, because they live it every day, right? So, but I did want to touch on it briefly because it's a really big deal, and we're really proud of it. So let's hop to the next slide here, and we'll start to talk about some of the changes and enhancements we made on the analysis and performance improvement. So let's hop to the next slide here, and I'll take this first one. And Boris mentioned we were changing the name of PDAS. You know, we need to start looking at the term speech IQ, because we've brought it on platform now, and it's not just speech, right? We're telling voice, digital, AI interaction. So we're scoring your chats, we're scoring your texts. So the ability to now manage 100% of your agents' interactions across platforms on our core platform is a really big deal, and we're excited about it. With that comes the automated quality processes, and then the ability to do data-driven, specific, targeted e-learning. Again, remote agents, not as easy it used to be to pull them into a huddle room and coach them and develop them. So having this targeted and acknowledged training is a really big deal. So Boris, let me give you a couple slides here to talk about that in a little more detail.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've done a lot here with our speech analytics and quality management tool. One of the first things that you just talked about, Jason, is spot on. Starting in 17, all of the conversations, whether they're voice, email, SMS, chat, WhatsApp, are all now being brought into the tool, and you can score all of them. It's no longer just speech. And of course, we know a lot of our clients have already adopted omni-channel conversations. Now all of those can be scored in a single unified interface for our clients. What else have we done? Well, we wanted to bring that power and marry that power of advanced analytics and the quality management capability. So what now you're able to do is you're able to display unified analytics dashboard within the quality management program. So what that means is that if you have particular scores, particular calls, particular skills that you're evaluating constantly, you can bring that data in a visual format and understand better trends at a sort of much more holistic level across your entire organization. So really, really helpful tool for anybody managing quality management team as well. What we've also done is we've added a trending capability in order to be able to see how certain components, agents, calls, call centers, or departments are trending. You can actually slice and dice that data to really get a deeper insight, not only at a moment in time, but over a particular period of time. We've also added a scorecard assessment tracking. So this way, this provides you a next level capability to be able to track all of this, to understand whether certain quality managers are grading, I'll call it a harsher set, your agents, but be able to effectively filter on them. Who's providing the scores, who is doing majority of the work from your quality management team as well.
Hey, Boris, on that one, you know, that's a cool one that we talk about often is, you know, scoring your agents and coaching your agents is great. Your QA team has the same availability for improvement, especially when you are trying to calibrate your automated scorecards, right? So you say, hey, my automated scorecard gave me a 9, Boris gave me a 3. I need to figure out what's going on there. So that's a really good call out.
Absolutely. Well, what we also know is that finding certain things within a transcript is very, very hard. And so it's almost like trying to find something like a needle in a haystack. So we made that process quite a bit easier through our GUI. What we're able to do now is we're able to search for particular phrases, keywords, at certain points within the call, and when those are particularly stated. Whether you're a customer service center and you want folks to thank your customers for doing business, whether it's your agents reading out a mini Miranda in the first 30 seconds of the call, all of these capabilities are now available within the GUI. So you can search for specific phrases at certain points in the conversation to make it easier to find just the right conversations that you want to actually hear and that you want to score as well. And that actually leads us to the next one, which is that question level positioning and word searching. So you can actually now set particular pivot words and words that are stated in between a conversation. So if you have rebuttals to a proposed solution, where you have objection handling, things that you want your agents to be able to say, you can now insert those particular keywords, and we'll look for those particular pivot phrases within a conversation itself. So that way you don't have to listen to everything. You can just make sure that those words are sort of stated in the middle of the conversation. And all of this can be complicated for a lot of folks, but we've actually made it easier. So if you're one of the clients today with us that isn't utilizing Speech IQ, what we've done is a tremendous amount of work in terms of optimizing your onboarding experience. Sometimes it may feel daunting to think, oh, I have to think about all the keywords, I have to think about all the compliance language. What we've actually created is a library for you, and that library already has common keywords and terms based on your use cases, and at times even based on your vertical. And what you can do is you can actually immediately load those into your library and into your Speech IQ setup to get you going much, much quicker versus effectively having to think about this and build this yourself with our team.
Yeah, those are all awesome. And Boris, we went through a ton there, and as expected, we have a handful of questions here as we wrap up. I'm going to start with the easy one. When will 17 be GA'd?
I could take that. You could take that. 17 is already GA. It is already GA. We are up to, I want to say, like 80 portals on 17. So for clients looking to jump on, we're happy to have you get scheduled for that.
Yeah, I wanted to give you the ability to brag on that because I know your team spent a ton of time on it. So there's a couple questions here. Quite honestly, I don't know the answer to the first one. So does web chat co-browsing work when a customer's using their iPhone?
Yes, the short answer is yes. Yes, we support mobile interfaces. Obviously, the voice capability that I talked about, along with the co-browse capabilities, depending on their cell, connectivity, but we do test those on mobile devices.
Great. And there was a few, more than a few variations of this question, and I don't know the answer to this one either. It's a great question. WhatsApp obviously has the ability to send a voice note. How are we in a position to handle that today, or how do we handle that, or how do we intend to handle that in future releases?
Yeah, and I want to make sure that I understand the question correctly. Voice note, I'm assuming when people are saying that, can you send out a campaign? Can you send out a campaign or a message out?
I think it was more position where a customer reaches out to you and they record their audio message and send it in.
That's a good question. I do not know the answer to that question. I can speak more broadly to two things. So today, the voice capability, more broadly speaking, has been just set up for person to person. We know that WhatsApp at this point is in an alpha stage of providing voice capability from an API perspective, so that business providers can take advantage of that. We will be at the forefront of that capability when that becomes available in a beta phase. But it's a good question regarding the voice note. I don't know the answer to that. We will research that. Jason, did we lose you? Maybe we lost Jason.
Good.
Okay.
No problem at all. I think we got where we needed to be. So thank you so much, Jason and Boris. Really appreciate your time. As somebody coming from somewhere where WhatsApp is very popular, I can attest to the fact that sending voice notes has become a really big thing. So we'll certainly make sure to look into that. Before we leave you today, everyone, I just wanted to point you in the direction of a couple of resources that you have available to you and that we'll send you after the webinar's concluded. So Obviously, we covered a ton of information today. We hope you enjoyed it. We're certainly not expecting you to have remembered everything. So if you want a recap of everything that we went through, we've got this on the left, this U17 product brief that's available for you to download, share. It's just essentially all the information that we just went through, but summarized in the form of a very accessible PDF. And then obviously, if you are interested in upgrading and you want to know how that process looks like, how you would get it started, what the different steps of that are going to look like, then we've got this upgrade FAQs document that's also going to be available to you after the webinar. I'll remind you once again that we've recorded this whole thing, and so look out for an email sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours as we get everything sorted out. Feel free to share that. You're going to have access to the recording, you can have access to the full deck, and you're going to have access to these resources that I've just spoken about now. So with that, I'll thank you once again for your time, and it's going to be a goodbye from me. I'll just hand back over to our host, Boris and Jason. Did you have anything more to add before we let people get on with their day?
No, I did want to thank folks. The other thing that I did want to navigate folks to is our help center, which is at help.livevox.com, which has a lot of answers to a lot of questions. It also has a link to a product documentation library. The reason that I say that from a U17 perspective is that this was just a highlight of some of the features and capabilities we've built out on 17. There's actually a much longer list with the release notes against all of these products. And you may find a feature that you've been looking for there. So I encourage you to follow that path and see some of the features that we've developed as well in 17. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Take care.